the timelines have changed. So I wanted to do a quick update. 2025 is going to be a hugely eventful and impactful year as the world transitions and we start to head towards better times. So here are top 25 top predictions for 25 and the 2025 psychic forecast. Number one is I'm seeing an economic boon. And we're going to see a lot of the right measures going in the right directions, more towards the second half. And as I'm talking, they're saying we'll see more towards October, so later in the year. Number two, I'm seeing an economic crash or a reset, probably around February or March. We'll see how extreme it goes. And, I should remind you that these are, predictions, forecasts are just that. What I'm doing is basically I'm getting images and feelings about the future based on the present energy. But if we change the energy in the present, we can change the forecast, we can change the timelines because we're doing that all the time. And of course, legally, all psychic predictions are for entertainment purposes only. Okay, number three. Or did I finish up with number two? Yeah, so expect a lot of changes in the economy, a lot of changes in world economy, currencies, exchange rates, a big reset in the economy's coming. It may be rough and dicey earlier in the year, but like I said, I think it's going to go in the right direction. We may even move towards a quantum financial system, maybe this year, maybe in 2026. But anyway, which is basically gold or precious metal standard or backed currency. So number three, all on my notes, massive recalls I'm seeing, especially in the livestock industry. So this could be cattle, this could be fowl, but we could see a lot of recalls in a lot of stuff. Be careful what you eat, and remember that 90% of what's on the store shelves in supermarkets not really food. It's products highly processed, usually made from food. Get real free range or organic whole living foods. All right. Number four, repeals of important legislations I'm seeing. This could include tariffs or taxations, things that are not fair, that are driven to level greater power over the peoples or drive the economy. Or feed the pockets of the corporations at the expense of the masses. So a lot's getting exposed. I'll get to that in a second. Number five, extreme pushbacks against Trump. There are people, there are forces out there that are deathly afraid or angry that don't want to see him being inaugurated. Expect things to come up in the news. It could be things around voter fraud, alleged, or other things that he did or whatever, but expect a lot of pushback and that the controversy around Trump and in general is going to reach an all-time high. This to start off the year in January. So number six is I see the inauguration still on schedule, but there are alternate timelines. There's a possibility with all the pushback it could get delayed a few weeks or a few months. And once he's in, he'll take swift action, feeling like he doesn't have a lot of time to fulfill his agenda. And we can speculate on what that is later. But that's that. Number seven, tension at an all-time high, especially in the winter. Lots of protests, rallies, distresses on social media. Things exposed, stuff like that. Another assassination attempt possible on Trump, possibly on Netanyahu. So we see a lot of explosive energy in the world, a lot of the release of all these tensions coming out in ways that are going to be probably pretty violent. So hang in there. So number eight, I think we're at exposure of an explosion at a U.S. port. I was seeing California, but it could be anywhere. It doesn't even have to be in the U.S., but things that are going to hold up like supply lines and delay things. So I'm seeing a lot of delays in like food and supply lines. So be ready, be prepared for that. Number nine is more notable people dying, more leaders, former leaders. I think two more ex-presidents would be on the list. Number 10, more weather records broken than ever. So more powerful Gulf. I was seeing probably the most powerful Gulf or Atlantic hurricane, but floods, fires. I could make a long video just about that, but I think it's going to be the third warmest year on record globally, so it's going to be in the top three, and there's going to just be an explosion of more and more weather-related events and problems. Number 11 was the California earthquake. Look around January or February towards the LA area. We'd seen this before the last earthquake that was the strongest in 6 years. And I think there's going to be three impactful USA earthquakes during the coming year. And on that note, number 12 is seismic and volcanic activity around the planet increasing, especially around the Ring of Fire area in the Pacific. Number 13, Russia-Ukraine, either ceasefire or war ending around mid-year or so. I mean, it could be a little bit up and down, but generally speaking. Number 14 was I got images of underground caves, caverns, and places where those that are subjected to human trafficking are getting held. And I think there's going to be discoveries of that, more about the human trafficking being made public as the year goes on, and images of that. Number 15, they were showing me a nuclear accident or incident, particularly around Eastern Europe. Number 16, record year for exposures of global corruption and cover-ups, crimes against humanity, greed and power-driven things, profit over the good of the people, that kind of a thing. And I don't know if I have it on my list or not. I think I do, but look for exposures on the Epstein list towards around September also as part of the exposure. All right, moving right along. Okay, that was number 17. At least partial knowledge of the Epstein list towards September. Number 18, off the chart year for science and medical breakthroughs. Like nothing we've seen before. Accelerations, things that we're going to be OMG over. Really amazing stuff happening. Number 19, tangible footage or evidence of human and extraterrestrial interactions or stuff like that. So you can expect lots more UFO activities, a lot more drone activity, a lot more speculation on that, a lot more opening up of energy and understanding energies and mapping of energies. That's all part of what's going on with the drones and the sightings. And more anomalous events in the sky, a lot more in the way of solar flares. We just last week we talked about January being a big month, and within 24 hours we have more M-class flares than it was record the last 24 hours, only 2 days before January. So that could cause power outages, things of that nature. But in any event, tangible evidence, footage or evidence of human. I think that's towards later in the year. Also watch out for Project Bluebeam and the fictitious stuff and all that. But I think that's all part of the mass exposure that we're seeing. Number 21, new conflicts, some of it revolutionaries. It could break out a little bit in this country, not a revolutionary war, but activities like that in Europe and other countries. And new players in the Mideast crisis. Some good news maybe around Russia, Ukraine, but more players in that. I was also seeing an archipelago nation, some new outbreaks or islands. So a lot of that. I don't think we'll ever get to World War III, but I think we're seeing some movement in that direction. On that note, number 22 is U.S. and Russia cooperate and help to ease. Where are the rest of my notes? All right, that I'm saying, that there's actually a cooperative effort between countries that don't particularly like each other. So that would be really good news, at least to try to ease some of the conflicts, if not solve some of them around the world. So number 23 is seeing like the new DNA vaccines. They're already being tested, cancer vaccines and stuff like that. So I think we'll see those roll out maybe around mid-year for some cancers or some things. But it's sort of a breakthrough in a way of using genetics and altering the cells in order to enhance the immune system so it's a different way of doing vaccines, we'll put it that way. And this could be also a step into what will be a biological and technological interface. You're using technology to interact with the biology systems. I think there's going to be a lot of medical advances, as I was sort of touched on briefly a second ago, but and some of it involving frequency, sound, and understanding more about that. Using things like new techniques of transplanting, just a lot of amazing stuff. So we see a lot of AI development and using things and movements towards transhumanism and stuff like that. And I think with number 24, we started hearing more about another coming pandemic, bird flu. But I also feel like there's an unknown, and we may start hearing about that by the end of the year. And though not in my notes for my top 25, but for a lot of like AI scams and a lot of laws around that, recalls of electric vehicles and slowdowns on that, a lot of stress over Project 25 and what elements are coming to fruition, what aren't, leading to Project 30. But I have more information on that on a longer video. So number 25 is, and this is my favorite, is the acceleration of spiritual awakening. And I started going to a little bit of automatic writing when I was doing my notes. So what came through is frequencies are higher now than they've ever been. This will cause the unfair systems in the world to get exposed or to get changed, because they can't, the lower frequencies can't exist with that. This will catalyze reform in many, many unfair systems. It will be bumpy this year. There will be tons of resistance from different people, but the old will fall, the corrupt will be revealed, and this year will be a huge turning point as more will awaken than ever. So it's a big year of spiritual awakening. The collective will shift to higher realities, and the changes that will still take many years to complete. But amidst the chaos and the change, there will be signs. There will be tangible signs by the end of the year that there will be a lot of hope. And there will be reason to celebrate and look forward to a better tomorrow. So this is the outline. I have, if you want to deep dive into 2025 energies and more predictions, check out the video here. And the video on this side is a shorter video about the 3 important things that we need to start to do to be able to utilize these higher frequencies for our ascension to create the best in our lives and the world around us. I love you. Thank you. Happy 2025. Happy New Year.